Really, I'm still on this one.
I'll try and cram in as many questions as possible with the next wine. But I'm so glad you
Don't
like
take
this
wine
wine.
from me. I like this one.
Well, I know that you wanted a summer red.
Yes.
I know that you loved Italy.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to choose a wine which I adore the winery. It's run by the husband unfortunately died in 2021, Lionel. But he used to run this winery with his wife, and I know that you run your company with your husband. And
he's going to love that you said that. Oh, here we go. I'm never going to hear the end of this one.
He helps you with your company, but you definitely work together.
Keep that in.
You work together. And as well as being delicious wine, I also thought you'd approve the label. Not saying that labels are everything when it comes to wine, but as soon as I brought this out, you noticed the tiger on the front.
Ooh.
And it's because, this is a wine from Tuscany. From Montalcino, and they do make Brunello, which is made by 100% Sangiovese. But what they've done now, this is the 5th edition. So for the last few editions of this special blend, they work with their local Frenchies and artists. And for the 5th edition, they decided to go with a tiger. And this particular edition is a really interesting wine where it's basically taking the grapes from the 2018 and 2019 harvest and being like, they're not ready enough to like be made into a Brunello, which needs to age or whatever. But we can see them, if we blend them together, we can see them kind of evolving, taking a bit like of a different tangent, but creating an equally beautiful wine, but it's not going to be a traditional Brunello del Montalcino. Mm-hmm. So I'm all about kind of hybrid careers, multifaceted careers, maybe not going down conventional routes, taking a bit of time and then evolving into a beautiful, unique expression.
So cool.
And, this wine is also special to me because the 2018 and 2019 were like Lionel, who I visited the winery. He died in 2021. So he oversaw these two harvests and oversaw the making of this wine. So they have like a wonderful Brunello. They make a very serious wine called Ombrone. But this it's meant to be like wine for friends, wine for like copain. But actually it's a pretty fun, serious wine. It's called Vino Rosso Cupano, just mean like a red blend, 80% Sangiovese.
Lovely.
20% Merlot. So again, like plummy and fruity and whatever. And it's aged in wood, like I think just not for as long, basically, as a Brunello. I think it's just like for a year and a half. But I just thought it's a beautiful wine, and I'll tell you a little bit more after we've had it too. But you were wanting a kind of summer red, and this, I think, it's a beautiful wine, and it's perfect for summer. Yeah. And I think by having that, you don't often get these like multi-vintage blends where you have 2018, 2019. But I think it actually gives a really interesting spin.
There's something about the smell of a good red that's like a hug.
Oh yeah, this totally envelops you.
Oh, yes.
And what I like is like you do get the plushness on the nose of kind of like the dark plum fruit or whatever, but also I get, which is what I love, is that slight, I love sun-dried tomatoes. I noticed that I brought out like Brazil and sun-dried tomatoes. What I like to get from like particularly like a really good like Sangiovese, which has had a bit of age, is that yes, you get the fruit, but you get that slightly sweet vegetal thing, like which you get in a sun-dried tomato, as tomatoes are fruit. And like, I love that on the, like, you particularly get it more on the palate than on the nose, but.
That is beautiful. That is gorgeous.
I feel like you get the blackberry fruit, you get like some kind of ripe sun-dried, like some kind of sweetness, but it's more like a vegetal, like a really gorgeous sweetness. And then you have the clove spice, which I love from the oak. And it's just like really juicy and delicious. I could have put it in the fridge for maybe 20 minutes.
So this is my question where I get a bit confused with red wine. Yeah. So you're saying this is like a good summer red.
Yeah.
So would you chill this?
You could. I actually forgot to. I was so engrossed in the conversation. I meant to, after the first wine, put this in the fridge. Because even though people are like, oh, you should only do it for Pinot Noir or like light body. And I would say this is a medium to full bodied wine. But
see, that's so interesting though.
Yeah.
See, I would never go, if someone said to me, oh, this is a full-bodied wine, I'd be like, oh, no, that's not what I want. So I clearly don't know what I want.
Well, I think like this is medium to, like, it's not.
I would say it's definitely medium.
Medium, or in like Wine and Spirit
plus.
Education Trust, medium plus. But that's obviously not how we navigate in life, thank God. But
okay.
So it's going that way. But I think because it is like lovely, bright city, because it is lovely perfume there, all of those things can be heightened when you put it. Because actually also the fact that Sangiovese people compare to Pinot Noir because of its perfume. Merlot, it's not high in tannin. I think certain things which are like a Malbec, which are like super high in tannin, super high in alcohol, that can just all be exacerbated. But I think actually just like putting this in, because it is such a warm day, I could have put it in for 20 minutes and then that would only enhance more of the clove spice, more of the fruit flavors. I think, again, I was thinking of somewhere, because I know that you love like your like pizza. And I was thinking like if you're having like pizza parties, or I've got Brazil and sun-dried tomatoes here, cheese boards, whatever goes together. Pecorino being from Tuscany. I thought that could be a good wine choice. Or there's like a Gorgonzola Dolce, which I thought actually has like the creaminess, and it would be lovely to kind of suffuse it together. So as well as that story, I didn't realize about him. So I've been to his winery. He's amazing. Everything is organic, biodynamic. He was so precise in his sustainability, Lionel, that he was actually known to cut some of his vines with like a toe clipper just to get the precision right on the shoots and stuff. Like he's very, very precise. But actually they met, him and his wife, Ornella, they met in Chad in 1977. I'm going to bring up my notes because I only learned this recently. While they were both living with the rebels in the desert, he was filming a documentary about them, and she was writing a book with Marie-Laure de Decker. So they then fell in love. They ended up like moving to a small island, Filicudi, in like the Ilian Archipel, which was very remote at the time. No electricity, no current water, very rustic. Then they moved to Paris, where Lionel resumed his job as director of photography. So I wanted to link it into your photography.
Oh, you're clever.
Where he met Otar Lossiliani, the Georgian film director, well known for movies like Falling Leaves and Pastoral and Favorites of the Moon and all of that. So he worked for him in Paris. But then he got into a motor. I did know about this. He got into a bike accident and he lost the sight of one eye, which obviously when you're in photography, that's hard. But Ornella had just bought this estate in Tuscany. So they ended up moving Tuscany to Montalcino. And he just, basically, this is his second career. They created this exceptional estate called Cupano. And so he actually had help from Burgundian wine legend Henri Geur, who looked after like Vosny Romani in Burgundy. So they're like working with who's also very into organics, biodynamics, and just being as sustainable as possible. And they're like right by the Ombrone River, which is why their kind of top wine is called Ombrone. It's this really dark, deep broody, and that you do need to age for a bit. And actually the last time I was there, I just checked actually while doing this podcast, and I was like, oh, I've still got a couple of bottles of 2006, which I bought, off Lionel there. And so no, it's like, for me, it's a beautiful story. Second careers, husband and wife team, photography. And again, like I'm just thinking, gosh, yeah, he actually had a help in this. It's a one way to appreciate a friend. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, Amelia, cheers to you for a second, honestly, for one, being so thoughtful in finding these wines for me, but also getting me a little tipsy drunk on some brilliant alcohol, and the stories.
My pleasure. No,
I mean, I want this, as you said, it's not just about the outside, but I love that because I would keep that bottle.
Yeah.
I've only kept one bottle of wine for visual purposes in my home, but I need to get this because one, I want to drink it, and two, I want to add it to my collection of one.